All right, guys. So we got my practice tree here. And what I wanted to talk about today was one, guys who bracket race, how many of you use it? How do you utilize it? Um, I decided to actually pull it out of my trailer toolbox today because I haven't used this thing in quite a while. But I have been bouncing between Sportsman Tree and Pro Tree, running the Sportsman Tree in the Pro category, which we made the jump to from Sportsman. And then we decided to run Index since we did pretty good at the tail end of the year last year running Index, and we seem to be doing all right this year. But it certainly has been a challenge jumping between the two classes on the same day. And I've had to really learn to kind of find a happy medium, and we're getting there. I think our last good race day where, I think I may have gone around in Index, but I went 4 rounds in Sportsman. I think I was averaging like, between an 040 and an 060 light, and that's between the two classes. So like an 060 light on the Pro tree, like a 040-ish on the Sportsman tree. And again, I'm trying to find a happy medium before I really start focusing on them individually. I have to build that discipline. As I have notes in my car, there's a little dash plaque that covers where the radio would go, and I put Pro tree top bulb, Sportsman tree bottom bulb, and I have to leave on a dead amber. And all I'm trying to do here is nurture the reflex between my reaction to the top bulb and the bottom bulb. So when I turn this on, you're going to see my averages aren't the greatest, but there's also a couple of idiosyncrasies to my car because I spent many years just tinkering, doing tests and tunes, building engines. I think the engine that's in the car now is like engine number 6. It's actually been in it the longest, but every year I would always have a different combination. And I built my car as far as suspension goes, kind of like a stock Eliminator car where it's all about efficiency. But for consistency, it kind of works against me because, I've taken a lot of advice from people and it just doesn't work because I don't think they understand the car. And the car launches really, really good. Its 60 is really, really good. The mile an hour does not match the ET. But again, that's like a stock Eliminator type deal where I'm using as much of the power that I have. I'm using it as efficiently as I possibly can with what I got. And playing with the tire pressure this year really, really started to get me more consistent. But now I think I need to put adjustable front shocks on it and play with that, but that won't be till the fall. For now, we're going to go with what we have. We've been going rounds. We went to the semifinal round in the Index class, and we were shy a couple of cars, but not many. There was 14 cars. I think usually we get like 18. We ran Pro. The car count there was a little lower, but didn't mean that the competition was any lesser. I managed 2 rounds. My lights throughout the day were consistently crappy. It was like a 0.1 something in the Index and pretty much about the same in Pro towards the end there. But the last round that I ran in Pro, the second round, was a much faster car and he caught a bad light. So did I. He did a 070 something light to my 0.1 something light. But the margin of victory was all on the reaction time. He ran a 923 with a 6 on a 923 dial, and I ran an 1196 with an 8 on an 1196 dial. And without further ado, I guess I have to show you guys kind of the difference is here. At least I'm kind of learning it. Obviously, the average is 0.075, which isn't the greatest, and this is on a full tree. But again, I am reacting to the light how I would in the car because this thing is not the car. 093, but I left on a dead amber. I'll see if I can do the whole anticipation thing. 012. Okay, I was anticipating that last amber. And that's leaving on a dead amber like I would have to on my car. And that is chassis reaction, movement, staging. You know, you're in the car, it's totally different. All I'm trying to do is just the mental focus on the light, the bulb. And we'll change it over to the Pro Tree. There we go. And then we gotta go here. Keep going. There we go. All right, so 070. It's not too bad on a 500th Pro Tree. 057. So I'm reacting to just the top bulb. That's all I'm keeping my eye on. And on the other tree, I'm keeping my eye on the bottom bulb. And I cannot anticipate it. 000 red. That's anticipation right there. 080. So again, perfect examples. It took a couple tries because, again, so my average on the Pro Tree is an 061. Today is the only day that I've been working on the Pro Tree. I've never actually set this up for the Pro Tree. And we'll go back to the, no, damn it. I always like it when there's the other one, but I messed with the settings, so I'm running like a solo tree here. Here we go, full. I think I have to do the auto tree. There we go. I think that should do it. It's been a while to remember all of these things. So obviously the other contender being the computer, you can see my 061 average. So we got like a 070 average and an 060 average between the two trees. And that's all I'm trying to do is maintain an average. I might be using this wrong. You guys can definitely chime in on this because I'm using this thing very differently. I do not have the same expectations, and I've learned that in the past. I cannot use this. This is just this. Oh, 48. Oh, 76. Oh, 56. So that's more realistic. Leaving on the dead amber, I'm kind of seeing what I'm actually seeing at the track. And again, it sounds kind of horrible, but it's the way that I'm going to have to learn to run those two trees on the same day. It hasn't been easy, but I am trying to establish an average before I really. I'm not too worried about the Pro Tree. The lights are not bad on the Pro Tree. I'm still foot braking it. But on the Sportsman tree, I definitely need to tighten that up. Although we've been going rounds in Pro. We did 4 rounds 2 races ago, and 4 rounds and then 2 rounds, and I screwed up, and I ran against my buddy when he put the ET Genie on to slow the car down, and I forgot that I had to chase him down, and I staged all wrong, and I went out first round that day on what should have been an easy kill run for me. But I was the faster car in that situation. I'm used to being the slower car. So driving the stripe is very important for me. And I actually really learned to do that running the index class, or we run it on an open 10th. So I think you can run between 1050 to 12.0, but it'll be like a 12.1, 12 or a 10. Let's call it an 11.1, 11.2, 11.3. You just can't do that last digit. And you have to find out where you want to be. And, one thing that has been taught to me by my good friend Mike, who got me to go out and start racing 5 years ago, is you can always, you can't make the car faster, but you can slow it down. So that's where driving the stripe comes into play. And maybe I'm misusing the terminology there, but I'm learning. I've only been doing it 5 years. I'm racing against a bunch of guys that got decades and decades of racing on me, and you know, we're kind of like the newer kids on the block, I guess, me and my buddy Tim, and but we're making a go of it, and so far this season's been pretty good. Um, you know, the car's been working well, and again, we're working on our lights, and we're somewhat, I think, staying competitive. We're doing pretty good in points, which I use as a gauge for my performance, because we don't really we're not worried about like running the Division 3 finals, but it is nice to see the, you know, where you're placing against everybody else, and it's kind of nice. You know, the regulars are always tough, and but we're making a good go of it, and I think we're not doing too bad. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have a practice tree, how do you guys use it? Obviously, there's a bunch of functions that I can set up, but I'm using it kind of in its more basic state. And again, I'm just kind of using it to condition that reflex between my eyes and the light. And I'm seeing the same average that I would see at the track, which tells me that that reflex is reflexing, I guess. I have that level of consistency, but I can't take this mindset of this and apply it at the track. This is all just like practice, because at the track you got a lot of different elements. You got sweat running down your eye, you're having a bad day, you know. Yeah, I had one race where I had some personal family issues, health stuff, and I went into that race, my head wasn't in it, and it affected me. So it is very much a mental game. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe this video was worthless, maybe it wasn't, but share, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass, and we'll let you guys go.